This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team. The final score, Leyton Orient 1, Wrexham 0, this massive top of the table match, and well, huge disappointment for Wrexham because it felt like history repeating itself ultimately. Just like the home league game, Wrexham making a good account of themselves, but not able to make enough chances or take those chances when they were on top of the game and paying the price in the cliched game of two halves. Wrexham massively on top in the first half, but even then the warning signs were there because Orient, they've got better quality in the final third, and although they weren't making anywhere near as many chances, they were better chances, and you just felt that they had the players to take them. Wrexham, with lots of the ball and an admirable first half performance, unable to take them and ultimately punished. Can I be controversial and say that the first half performance by Wrexham was probably as good as we've done all season, because we were up against very, very high quality opposition and we worried them. That's despite the fact that we should have been behind after 2 minutes and lost a key player after 6. It sounds like a nightmare start, doesn't it? Although pretty much everything else that happened in the first half went Wrexham's way. That opening chance was a corner on the left-hand side. It was flicked on to Clay on the penalty spot. He took a touch and, well, the goal was there for him to hit. He went for the bottom left corner and his shot scraped the post. It was a glorious opportunity. He really should have done a lot better with it. Wrexham were furious, claiming there was some sort of infringement as the ball was played into him. I'm not sure exactly what, but Sean Pearson was livid, and that also set a tone for the match. It was a very niggly, bad-tempered match. There's a lot of personal duels going on around the pitch. Orient's time wasting at the end was borderline comical, although I've got to say I don't blame them. I would expect Wrexham to do the same if they were leading in a similar high-stakes match, but yeah, the referee did allow quite a lot to go on. Turley and Bevan had a constant ding-dong battle throughout. Turley incredibly lucky not to get a yellow card throughout the match. Well, maybe more than a yellow card, as we'll get to in a moment. But there were a number of niggly, unpleasant confrontations throughout the game. And that was just the start of it. Then Wrexham lost Brad Walker, who I'm not quite sure what happened to him, whether it was linked to the incident that Wrexham were unhappy with the corner. The way he was getting his leg stretched out, it looked like it might have been a groin injury, but he had to go off, and Brian Hughes had packed his bench with strikers, 3 forwards on the bench, and decided that the best thing to do would be to put Bobby Grant into midfield. Initially it seemed playing off the mat of the striker in the 4-2-3-1, but then afterwards they dropped him deeper and it was Akil Wright pushed further forward, so Grant's in a very unfamiliar central midfield role. I thought he did a decent enough job in there as well. He tracked back, he was diligent. But he's not a natural passer of the ball. A number of times he got the ball and he just felt he wanted to be the player running into position for someone to find rather than him having to play it on himself. Certainly, a number of times that happened also made me think that I wouldn't have minded seeing Luke Summerfield fit enough to be out there. He might have been able to dictate terms a little bit more in the middle of the pitch. Anyway, enough of that. Wrexham started to take control of the game. A big part of that was because of Ben Tollitt. Tollitt was absolutely terrorising Ekpiteta. The right-sided central defender was being left exposed to Tollitt, and he was troubling him horribly. And as a result, Ekpiteta picks up a yellow card early on for fouling Tollitt. In the 20th minute, he then was caught out by Tollitt in the box, caught in possession, and that led to Wrexham's best moments of the match. Tollitt, from a tight angle with Ekpiteta trying to put him under pressure to make up for his mistake, drove in a shot across the keeper, which scraped the right post and went behind for the goal kick. Orient, as I said, only a sporadic threat, but it just felt with the quality of Simpson and Bond up front that they were more likely to take their chances. In fact, after 24 minutes, they nearly scored what would have been a goal of the season in this league, no matter for any team. Simpson on the right-hand side with a brilliant spin, which left 2 Wrexham players eating his dust, pulled the ball to the edge of the area. Maguire drew with a difficult volley, hip height, nailed it, and it just whistled past the top right corner. A brilliant piece of set-up play by Simpson, brilliant technique by Maguire Drew, and so close to an absolutely glorious goal. But Wrexham bounced straight off the other side. Bevan, who was clearly offside and the ball's played over the top, but the flag stayed down, laying the ball off nicely to Grant, who just had to dig the shot out a little bit from between his feet from 20 yards. Still got decent power on it, but it just wide of the right post. Then it was Wrexham pushing on again. Corner half cleared, Young sweeping a tremendous ball in from the right flank under the bar, and Turley lunging at it with Kennedy and Wright hurling themselves to attack it and making an absolutely brilliant defensive header to somehow manage to deflect the ball clear. There was one last opportunity for Wrexham in the half as well, a fabulous tackle by Clay to stop Wrexham. Tollett has had a difficult bouncing ball to try and tame as Wrexham cleared a corner, but Wrexham came surging out and there were two players unmarked on the far side. If Tollett could just bring it down, turn, see them and hit the diagonal, then they would have been running in on goal. Tollett managed to tame it, managed to see them, and was just striking it when Clay came lunging in from behind him. It was an incredibly dangerous tackle. If he'd played the man, he could easily been sent off, but he judged it to absolute perfection, got the foot in, and the Wrexham breakaway opportunity was halted. In fact, within a minute, Simpson was at it again with another glorious piece of footwork, this time dribbling into the box, down the left channel, fading from side to side. His first shot was brilliantly blocked by Jake Lawler, and when it span out, he hit a second one, and he was well tackled by Kennedy. Good defending by Wrexham, but Simpson really showing a bit of quality once again, and he did again 2 minutes before the break. The same sort of trick he pulled off when he set up Maguire-Drew on the right hand side, a little drag back, and again two Wrexham players were heading in the wrong direction. He managed to find Ling, who I thought could have just attacked the ball and got to a bit earlier, but instead he played it safe, went round the outside of the ball to address it before driving across into the 6-yard box, and Bond, unmarked, headed it wide from 6 yards out. To be fair to him, the ball was a bit behind him. He had to dive and stretch to his right to try and get contact on it. It wasn't the worst effort by him. So Wrexham at half-time feeling, despite those late opportunities, that they were the better side. However, in blustery conditions, I really can't judge properly whether those were the cause of this. The second half felt completely different. Orient started to get at Wrexham, carved out a good chance, in fact, in the 51st minute. A great diagonal from the left-hand side to the right. Ling managed to get in behind Jennings and was one-on-one with Leyton, admittedly from a tight angle, but in the 6-yard box. Leyton did really well to come out bravely and save at his feet. Both players needed treatment. Leyton looked to be the worse off, and Wrexham survived. And a couple of minutes later, made up the half chance of their own. Rutherford swinging in a cross on the right-hand side. Wright was beaten to it by Ekpiteta, but the ball span down to Tollett. It was a half chance, 15 yards out, and he struck it cleanly, but a really good block under the bar denied it. Wrexham, probably the best spell of the half until the closing stages, when they threw the kitchen sink at Orient, had one other little opportunity. One of those you'd love to see the video from. Thankfully, as BT Sport covered that there'd be multiple camera angles, so we might actually see what happened. A ball down the right-hand side set Wrexham up for a 2-on-1 break. Rutherford scurried onto it, and as Bevan peeled away to run unmarked into the box, he went down after coming together with Turley. He stayed down for a while. Was it deliberate? Did Turley take him out off the ball? If so, well, it could easily be a red card, to be honest. Very wary of making any further comments until I've seen the replay, but it'll be interesting to see that replay. Anyway, around that point, the game started to turn away from Wrexham. Orient started to get their tails up. Wrexham's midfield started to be overrun, and the defence started to look exposed. Moments before the decisive goal, Maguire-Drew went over down the left-hand side in front of the superb army of Wrexham fans. 931 of them there were, and got roundly booed. And I said in commentary at the time, I never quite liked that. I always feel like players are inspired to do better when their ex-fans are on their backs. In fact, on that occasion, he pulled off some nice skill and combination play, and a minute later when he got there again, he did it again, and it cost Wrexham. He did well to draw men to it, poke it inside. Bond found himself in space in the box, helped her on to Simpson. Simpson tried a little drag back again. By this time, I think Wrexham was starting to get wise to him, got a foot into it, but didn't get to the loose ball, and it came out to Ekpiteta, of all people, the man who'd been tormented by Tollett. He lashed in a shot, which Leyton lunged to his left and pushed onto the post, his hand hitting the ball pretty much the same time as the ball hit the post and spinning into the net. A sloppy and scrappy and frustrating way for Wrexham to concede, and a very unlikely way. And with 16 minutes left, they found themselves behind, and it took them a while to get any sort of momentum going. They did get momentum going by taking wild tactical risks. It was just like they did a Gateshead recreation of that Brian Flynn lopsided 4-3-3 again, but with extra added gambles. Rutherford on the right-hand side, all on his own, basically. Jennings pushed up as a left winger. Kennedy shifted over to left back, and two strikers as Stockton came on to join Oswell up front. And there was decent pressure. With 4 minutes left, there was a long spell of good pressure, which ended with Rutherford ripping in across, the keeper just beating right to it to punch it clear. And when it came back in, the second inviting cross by Jennings of the move, which just found Young offside. Wrexham also had a odd moment of threat when Kennedy stood up across to the far post. It wasn't the best ball. Oswell and Ekpateta were wrestling at the far post. They both seemed to have hold of each other's shirts. Dangerous game for the centre-back to play. Brill got to it anyway and dropped it under pressure from Oswell. The referee didn't blow up, and the keeper had to sprawl backwards and grab hold of the ball just to make sure that there was no danger from it. I kept expecting the whistle to blow, and yet it didn't. So a half chance for Wrexham. And then in the second minute of added time, one last effort, Stockton getting the ball, turning very well 25 yards out and hitting a viciously powerful shot, but it was straight down the middle, and Brill was able to parry the ball away one-handed. You will have noticed in my description of those opportunities, they weren't really opportunities, were they? Lots of huffing and puffing, lots of effort from Wrexham, loads of heart, and they got an excellent reception from their fans after the match, and quite rightly. But despite all the effort, the same problem really that dogged them all season. They need to make a lot of chances to score goals, and on this occasion, despite a very good first half performance, you just have to say that the better side did win. That Orient do look like a title-winning side. Wrexham look like a decent side, but still with those attacking elements lacking, and there's not much Brian Hughes can do about that really until he gets the chance to have a proper summer at reassembling his squad. But Wrexham is still up there and still with a title chance, despite the fact they haven't quite got that sharpness in the box. A gutsy performance from Wrexham, but ultimately a defeat. To hear more analysis, here's what James Harrison and myself thought of the game after the final whistle on Calon FM. This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.
Well, head tennis ensues. Lawler works it to Rutherford. There is the final whistle. Not even the 6 minutes of allocated time there, but unfortunately Wrexham's title challenge falters a little. It's still not over. 9 big games to go. It will feel like a massive win for Leyton Orient though. Final score here, Leyton Orient 1, Wrexham 0.
Yeah, real disappointment for Wrexham, isn't it? The second half was nowhere near the performance levels of the first, was it, in all honesty, and ultimately we've been punished for that.
Yeah, unfortunately it's, well, we haven't done Leyton Orient taking all 6 points off Wrexham this year, and that's a big 6 points. A draw would have been very satisfying for Wrexham. I think the effort's there. It's just, well, you can see how much it means to the Orient fans. The flags are out, the mascots are on, the crowd are enjoying it. BT will be loving it, I'm sure.
It's frustrating. I mean, weather from up here is hard to judge. Whether the wind did make that much of a difference of it, but it was your stereotypical game in 2 halves, wasn't it? Wrexham the better side comfortably in the first half, Orient comfortably the better side in the second half, until Wrexham started just taking crazy risks at the end. But the truth is, for the amount of ball Wrexham had in the first half, we didn't make enough good chances, and then in the second half it took us taking those crazy risks to put pressure on, and we still didn't carve out chances. The one opportunity we really had in the game was when Tollett put that shot narrowly wide in the first half, and so, you know, there's an issue there Wrexham need to address. Difficult to address without the ability, a transfer budget to go out and buy strikers, but they showed good heart. I mean, fantastic scenes. The Wrexham fans, nearly 1,000, making a brilliant support for the team, and the players are going over to applaud them, and the manager. You know, it's a disappointment this, but there's still 9 games left, and the fact of the matter is that the side looks more positive under Hughes than they did previously.
Well, we've got 27 points to play for. It's not in our own hands anymore at all. But apart from this Tuesday, we play Barrow, we get a chance to bounce back quickly. We don't have to play Saturday, Tuesday. At some point, that's going to catch up on other teams. Wrexham just need to put this shortest one down as a loss, come back strongly. 2 winnable games on the bounce now. 6 points in this league has shown it can be a massive change.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? They've got to bounce back now. Two, as you say, winnable home games. They've got to push on, and they've got to look to take advantage of that, because they dug deep. They showed heart. It was just the lack of cutting edge, the lack of creativity that pays in the end. A little worry as well, the number of players who took knocks. You just hope that they're all able to recover for Tuesday.
Well, yeah, I'm just seeing the mascot giving the Wrexham fans a bit too much abuse as they're coming off. But yeah, it's recovered for Tuesday. They are two winnable games. They're two teams we should be beating if we want to be involved in the championship discussion. If we want to be involved in going up, they are games we have to win.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame for Brian Hughes' first defeat. If he hadn't lost today, he'd be equal second longest unbeaten start as a Wrexham manager. But we have been a side who tended to get unbeaten runs going, unlike Orient, who tended to be, 3 wins out of 4, then lose one. 3 wins out of 4, then lose one. And so we just need to try and get back on it and get the momentum going once more. Man of the match call. Who got anyone in mind? I'm not sure I have straight away. Young's energy was good.
Yeah, I think Young had a good game. Bevan had a good game. Bevan put himself. Bevan caused all our issues. I think it's between him and Young for me. I'm not sure who gets the final nod. I'm going to say Bevan. When we took Bevan off, we lost a little impetus up front.
Did we have impetus in the second half anyway, though?
Yeah, true. There is. But then we did the same in the midfield. Young wasn't as snappy as he was in the first half, so it's I suppose, does Young get it on the fact that he played the full 90? The positive from today is Sean Pearson didn't get a yellow card.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we go into the last final games with a clean bill of health in that sense.
And the defence didn't do too badly either, despite the fact they were put under pressure. The defence was decent. Jennings tried to push on, put some good balls into the box as well. The centre-backs are pretty solid, despite the fact that Simpson's drag-backs and skills caused them issues.
Yeah, we're not going to play that quality of players every week, I suppose. And it was a neutral point. That was a great game of football, some good football on show, some good players on show. Both teams wanted to win, both teams pushed it, but it was a good spectacle. It's just a damn shame we didn't come away with a point.
Yeah, absolutely right. Pity that. Just need to dig in that little bit more. The goal itself just a bit sloppy, wasn't it, really? But it was part of a spell of 10 minutes or so where Orient really started to get at us, and ultimately we failed to defend a loose ball dropping off on the edge of the area.
Yeah, if buts and maybes. Wrexham had a chance to clear it. They did clear it. It came off the back of a Wrexham player, which put it back into the melee. The second attempt at the clearance didn't get as far, so it falls to the Orient man. Simpson does well, finds a bit of space, lays it off, and the shot's there. So it's avoidable. But we invited that pressure, and at one again they took their chance while on top, and that is the key to. It's what they did to us at home. It's what they did to us away. Two fantastic clubs, like Orient and Wrexham. Both. Well, no one deserves to be in the Football League, but it would be nice to see this rivalry at the next level. But us via the Championship and then via the playoffs, of course. But
Well, ultimately, I think you're right, and that's what I was thinking summed it up. In the end, this did feel like that first game at the racecourse this season, where Wrexham had a lot of the ball, but it was Orient who had the cutting edge. And so this top of the table clash goes Orient's way with a final score of Leyton Orient 1, Wrexham 0. I'll hand back to the studio. This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.